12 rules the rich never break. What if the biggest financial rules in the world were never written down? Not in schools, not in books, not even in most business advice, yet the richest people on the planet follow them obsessively. And here's the uncomfortable part. You might already be breaking several of them without realizing it. Not because you're careless, not because you're lazy, but because no one ever told you the game had rules. Today, we're revealing 12 rules the rich never break. And by the end of this video, you may recognize a few decisions in your own life that suddenly make a lot more sense. For decades, economists believed people made financial decisions logically. That we weighed risks, analyzed numbers, and chose what was rational. But that idea was shattered by the work of psychologist and Nobel Prize winner Daniel Kahneman. Through decades of research in behavioral economics, Kahneman discovered something unsettling. Most financial decisions are not rational at all. Instead, they are driven by hidden mental shortcuts, emotional biases, and invisible psychological traps. And here's the fascinating part. The wealthy often succeed not because they work harder, but because they consciously or not, they follow a small set of principles that protect them from these very traps. Principles that quietly shape how they invest, how they spend, and how they think about money. In this video, we'll break down 12 rules the rich almost never violate, rules that act like guardrails against the exact biases Kahneman spent his life studying. And once you see them, you may start noticing how many financial mistakes in the world happen when these rules are ignored. But here's a deeper question. If our brains are naturally wired to make bad financial decisions, and if the wealthy follow a set of invisible rules to avoid these traps, how many of the decisions you've made about money were never really yours to begin with? Decisions shaped by habits, social pressure, and mental shortcuts you didn't even know existed. And that leads to an even more intriguing thought. What if there are a few hidden rules about money that most people go their entire lives without ever discovering? Let's start with the first one. Rule 1: Never trade long-term wealth for short-term comfort. Example: story in 2008, while markets were collapsing during the global financial crisis, millions of investors panicked, sold their portfolios. Many sold near the bottom. Meanwhile, long-term investors like Warren Buffett were doing the opposite, quietly buying. Human psychology hates uncertainty, but wealth is usually created by staying invested when it feels uncomfortable. The rich understand that markets reward patience, not emotional reactions. Short-term relief often destroys long-term wealth, and that leads to another rule. Because the wealthy don't just think long-term, they think differently about time itself. Rule 2: time is the most valuable asset. In the 1990s, an early $10,000 investment in Amazon could be worth millions today. Not because of luck, but because of time in the market. Compound growth works slowly at first, then suddenly. Most people underestimate time because the early years feel insignificant. The wealthy understand that compounding is exponential, not linear. The earlier money starts working, the less effort is needed later. But time alone is not enough. Because the wealthy follow another rule most people unknowingly break. Rule 3: Avoid lifestyle inflation. Many professional athletes earn tens of millions, yet a surprising number go bankrupt within years. One famous example is Mike Tyson, who earned hundreds of millions, but later faced severe financial trouble. As income rises, spending tends to rise with it. The wealthy resist this automatic upgrade cycle. Instead of upgrading lifestyles immediately, they upgrade assets first. Rising income should build wealth, not just a bigger lifestyle. Which brings us to a rule that completely changes how the rich see money. Rule 4: Own assets, not just income. The founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, didn't become wealthy from salary. His wealth came from ownership. Income pays bills. Assets create freedom. Assets include businesses, stocks, intellectual property, or real estate. The wealthy focus less on earning money and more on owning systems that generate it. But even ownership isn't enough without another hidden rule. Rule 5: Protect against downside risk. Legendary investor Charlie Munger once said that avoiding stupidity is more important than seeking brilliance. The rich focus heavily on not losing money. They diversify, avoid excessive debt, and prepare for worst-case scenarios. Avoiding catastrophic losses keeps compounding alive. Because surprisingly, the wealthy aren't obsessed with big wins. They're obsessed with not making fatal mistakes. Rule 6. Understand psychological biases. Research by Daniel Kahneman revealed that humans are prone to biases like loss aversion and overconfidence. Loss aversion means losing $100 hurts more than gaining $100 feels good. This causes investors to panic sell or chase trends. The wealthy build rules to override emotional decisions. Wealth often comes from managing psychology, not intelligence. And once psychology is controlled, another powerful rule appears. Rule 7. Think in decades, not years. Entrepreneurs like Jeff Bezos famously plan decades ahead, prioritizing long-term growth over short-term profit. Most people operate in short cycles, weeks, months, maybe a year. The wealthy think in 10 to 30-year horizons. That perspective changes almost every decision. Time horizons shape financial outcomes, but patience alone still isn't enough. Because the wealthy follow a rule about leverage most people misunderstand. Rule 8. Use leverage carefully. Real estate investors often build portfolios using debt strategically. But excessive leverage has destroyed fortunes, as seen during the global financial crisis. Leverage amplifies both gains and losses. The wealthy use it slowly, carefully, and with strong margins of safety. Leverage is powerful, but only when controlled. And this leads to something even more subtle. A rule about who influences your decisions. Rule 9. Choose your environment carefully. Many successful founders and investors surround themselves with other high performers. For example, the investment partnership between Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger shaped decades of decisions. Environment influences beliefs, habits, and risk tolerance. The wealthy deliberately place themselves near people who think long-term. Your financial environment shapes your financial future, but environment is only half the equation. Because the wealthy also guard something even more valuable. Rule 10. Protect focus. Highly productive entrepreneurs like Elon Musk structure their days around intense focus blocks. Distraction destroys deep thinking. The wealthy understand that the biggest financial ideas often require long, uninterrupted thought. Focus is a hidden multiplier of wealth. Yet, even focus and discipline are not the final rule. Because the wealthy understand one last principle about uncertainty. Rule 11. Expect volatility. Even the world's most valuable companies, like Apple, have experienced massive price swings. Markets, economies, and industries move in cycles. The wealthy expect volatility instead of fearing it. Uncertainty is normal, not a signal to panic. Which brings us to the final rule, and perhaps the most important one of all. Rule 12. Play the game long enough to win. Many of the richest investors built wealth slowly over decades. For example, the majority of Warren Buffett's wealth came after age 60. Explanation: compounding requires survival. Those who stay consistent, avoiding catastrophic mistakes, eventually benefit from exponential growth. Wealth is rarely built quickly. It is built by staying in the game longer than most people. The surprising truth is that none of these rules are secret. But very few people follow them consistently. And once you understand them, you start noticing something everywhere. Most financial struggles aren't caused by lack of intelligence. They're caused by quietly breaking the rules the wealthy almost never violate. At first glance, these rules may look like financial strategies, but if you look closer, they are really rules about human nature, the ability to wait when others rush, the discipline to think when others react, the patience to build when others chase shortcuts. Wealth, in the end, is rarely about money alone. It is about how a person thinks about time or risk and the future. And once you begin to see these patterns, something interesting happens. You start noticing them everywhere in businesses, in markets, and even in everyday decisions. Because the real difference between those who struggle financially and those who quietly build wealth over time is often not opportunity, but perspective. If this video helped you see money from a different perspective, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel is dedicated to uncovering the hidden rules of wealth, psychology, and decision-making that most people never learn. And in the next video, we'll explore something even more specific. Because after 40, financial strategy changes dramatically. Some decisions suddenly become far more important than how much you earn. In fact, according to behavioral research inspired by the work of Daniel Kahneman, a few key decisions made in midlife can shape the rest of your financial trajectory. So in the next episode, if you're over 40, these 5 financial decisions matter more than your salary, and one of them is a decision most people don't realize they're remaking until it's already too late.